Hello and welcome to the Crochet Business School podcast. I'm Kelly Thomas, the Crochet Profit Queen, and I'm going to show you how you can make a living from your crochet while avoiding the burnout and being able to make what you want and when you want. Don't let a bad week derail you. When we've had a bad week, for whatever reason, it's really easy for it to knock your crochet business off track. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad week in that everything's gone wrong. It could be just that life's got in the way. Your routine went out the window. You've had appointments to get to. Um, Kids have had umpteen different parties this week and play dates. Things have just got on top of you. Our routine goes out the window. And these things happen and it can really derail us. Whether we like to admit it or not, we are creatures of habit. And when our routines and habits get disrupted, it can knock us in ways we weren't expecting. It can make us feel quite unsettled, and that unsettling can have a knock on effect. Maybe you've suddenly realised you've been scrolling on social media for way longer than usual. You realise you forgot to put that newsletter out. You realise you didn't post on social media today. You realise you've not been able to pick up your hook for a while. And being knocked off track can have a knock-on effect and knock more things off track. And before you know it, your week's gone out the window. You've got nothing done that you had planned for your business. You feel like you've achieved nothing. And you just sat there going, what on earth happened? These kinds of weeks are set to try us. And kind of the only thing you can do is kind of just sit down and go, okay, that was that. Let's reset and start again. And start the next day on track. The best thing about having your own business is that you're never behind. You are simply where you are. The only deadline that you have to meet is your own. Everything else can be moved. If someone is waiting for an order, you can tell them there's been a delay. You don't ask them if you can send it late, you tell them there's been a delay. What are they going to do? The worst they can do is ask for their money back, in which case you have to deal. If you're writing patterns, blogs, courses, so it's all online, well, that's even better, because the only deadlines that you've got to lose are your own. If you told your audience a new pattern is coming, well, that's fine. They can wait a few days for you to get back on track and finish the task you're on. If you have a new blog post coming out, well, no one's sitting on the edge of their seats waiting to read it the second it's released. You don't have to worry about it being a few days later than you planned. A new course? Well, if you have people on the waiting list waiting to access content, you simply tell them, sorry, been a bit of a delay. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. It's going to be just a few more days. You are your own boss and you get to set your own timetable. And you'll find that most of your followers are very understanding. They are buying from you because you are an independent business, because they want something unique, because they don't want anything mass produced that everyone else has. They are buying from you because you are, your own business. And so, no, they can't expect service from Amazon. They can't expect you to be, on the end of Messenger 24 hours a day. And most people are reasonable and accept that. So you don't have to worry about your followers and your customers. They will be okay. You might get the odd one, the 0.01% who just want to find fault with anything and everything, in which case you were never going to satisfy them anyway. But deal with them, either refund them, block them from your social media, take them off your newsletter list, whatever. Just tell them to go away. You can fire a customer. You absolutely can do that. Just because somebody says, I want to buy from you, doesn't mean that you have to let them buy from you. Which I think these days is all too often forgotten. But you get to set your terms. You get to set your deadlines. You get to set your timetable. Now, that can be a double-edged sword. Setting your own timetable you can very easily put things off. But it does mean that when you do need a bit more time, that you can give yourself that, more time. You only have to answer to you. So, as easy as it is to let a bad week kind of continue to be bad and continue to have knock-on effects, you do just have to shake it off and go, okay then, and get back to your routine the next day. And then just shift your deadlines, shift your expectations. And that's all on you. That's all in your mind. These are artificial deadlines. These are artificial, milestones that we wanted to reach. You don't have to stick rigidly to the schedule. It can change. That's why you wanted your own business, to have more freedom. Well, caging yourself in these, arbitrary deadlines that you've put on a piece of paper because that just sounded right, that's not freedom. You can shift them. And you're only going to make your bad week worse by trying to cram all that stuff that you missed into a much smaller time frame. There is no benefit to doing that except for being able to tick a box and saying, yes, I met this random deadline that I gave myself 6 weeks ago because it was a nice looking date. Who cares? Move it. And, it's a few days is not going to break your business. And we can be just too hard on ourselves about these things. And there's no need to be. You can just chill. Take a bit of extra time. Don't chill too much because then you take too much time and nothing gets done. But we should always take account of the fact that life happens. I follow several coaches in like the business industry, and they do this all the time. Sorry, my kids are ill. I'm going to have to push back this webinar I was going to put on. And it's just an email they send out and a post on social media. And you know what the comments are like underneath that social media post? Very supportive, very understanding. Life happens, we know it. And we should give ourselves grace because our followers are understanding. Our followers are following us because they like what we do. They know that you are a single person in business, that you are doing this by yourself. And they understand that life happens. As long as you keep them informed, all will be well. So, bad weeks happen. Weeks where we just get knocked off track, they happen because it's life. It's not predictable. But when they do happen, don't let them completely derail you. Don't feel forced to have to cram all that stuff that you planned and had to miss into a short amount of time because that serves no one. It certainly doesn't serve you, and it's not going ultimately to serve your customers because you're just going to get stressed out. And when you stress yourself out for no other reason than you don't want to admit that you're this perfect business owner that always meets their deadlines, deadlines that you set and mean nothing to no one except yourself, it's you're trying to fool yourself, but you'll end up fooling no one. No one is perfect. No business runs perfectly. And so you shouldn't try and force that false standard on yourself. Stress and, heartache lie that way. You'll burn out. You won't be enjoying yourself. And what's the point in having your own business if you're not enjoying it? So when things go wrong, just give yourself a break. Go, okay, then, this is what's happened. Deal with it. We'll get back on track and just push things back a bit. And that is the best way and the quickest way to get back on track and just accept that things need to be tweaked a little. So I hope that's given you some things to think about. And as always, if you have any questions, please do come over to our Facebook community. The link is in the show notes. Otherwise, I shall see you next time for the next episode. Bye for now.